Master Your Mind Before It Masters You. Written and published by Cultivate. Introduction. Master Your Mind Before It Masters You. This book begins with a simple truth. Your mind is your greatest friend and your greatest enemy. It can push you forward, or it can hold you back. And every day, without even noticing, you choose which one it becomes. Most people let their mind run on its own. Thoughts move without direction. Emotions rise without control. Habits repeat without intention. Life feels like a reaction, not a choice. This book exists to change that. You are about to learn how to take back control, not with force, not with pressure, but with awareness, clarity, and simple daily action. You will learn how your thoughts shape your reality. You will learn how emotions guide your decisions. You will learn how to break negative cycles before they take over. And most of all, you will learn how to build a mind that works for you, not against you. The goal is not perfection. The goal is mastery. Mastery of focus. Mastery of discipline. Mastery of your inner world. Because when you master the inner world, the outer world begins to change. This book will guide you step by step. Each chapter is clear. Each lesson is simple. Each idea is practical and easy to use. No complex language. No confusing theories. Just real tools that help you grow, think better, and live with greater purpose. As you listen, give yourself time to reflect. Let each idea sink in. Let each message shape a new way of thinking. Your mind learns through repetition, awareness, and small adjustments. Change does not come all at once, but it comes right now. You are standing at the doorway of a new beginning. A beginning where you lead your thoughts instead of following them. Where your emotions support your growth instead of blocking it. Where your habits match the person you want to become. This book is your guide on that journey. A journey of clarity. A journey of discipline. A journey of personal power. So take a breath, settle in, and prepare to master your mind before it masters you. Chapter 1. The moment you take control. The decision that changes everything begins inside. There is a moment in every life when something shifts. Sometimes it arrives quietly, like a gentle warning. Sometimes it arrives with force, like a door slamming shut. But it always begins the same way. It begins when you realize that your mind has been leading you, instead of you leading it. For years, you may have moved through life on autopilot. You woke up, followed routines, dealt with problems, and reacted to whatever came your way. You thought you were in control, yet much of your behavior was shaped by old habits and hidden beliefs. You felt certain emotions without knowing why. You repeated patterns that no longer served you. You faced moments of doubt or fear, and could not explain their source. Most people live this way without noticing it. They are moved by the current of their own mind, but they do not steer the direction. This chapter is about the moment you finally decide to take the wheel. A quiet wake-up call. Think back to a moment when something felt off. Maybe you snapped at someone without meaning to. Maybe you delayed something important, even though you knew it mattered. Maybe you looked at your life and felt a sense of drifting. It may have been small, but it carried a clear message. It was your mind telling you that something needed attention. One listener shared a story that reflects this idea well. He described a morning when he woke up late again, rushed through his routine again, and told himself, "Today will be better," again. But nothing changed, because nothing inside him had changed. On that day, he finally asked a powerful question. Why am I letting my habits run my life? That question became his turning point. Your moment may look different, but the lesson is the same. Change begins the moment you stop accepting autopilot as normal. The first step, awareness. Taking control does not start with massive action. It starts with a simple shift in awareness. You begin to watch your thoughts instead of reacting to them. You begin to notice patterns that once felt invisible. You begin to see the connection between your inner world and your daily decisions. For example, you may notice how a single negative thought can shape your entire morning. You are behind. You will fail. You are not ready. These thoughts move fast, but they carry weight. Once you notice them, you gain the power to challenge them. This is the foundation of control. Awareness breaks the cycle of automatic thinking. The power of the pause. There is a small space between what happens to you and how you respond. Most people never use that space. They jump from trigger to reaction without thinking. But when you grow aware of that space, something powerful happens. You insert a pause. A short breath. A moment of clarity. That pause is where control lives. Imagine you are stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. Your mind wants to panic. It wants to create a story of failure. But in that pause you choose a different response. You breathe. You ground yourself. You speak to yourself with steadiness instead of fear. One small choice changes the entire emotional direction of the moment. Control rarely arrives in big moments. It arrives in small, quiet choices. Rewriting the inner script. Most people speak to themselves in ways they would never speak to others. They use criticism instead of guidance. They use fear instead of encouragement. They expect perfection, then judge themselves for not reaching it. This inner script shapes everything. The moment you take control is the moment you rewrite that script. Not with empty phrases, but with clear, steady messages that support who you want to become. You might tell yourself, I can pause before I act. I can choose what this moment means. I can respond with clarity, instead of panic. These are not just words. They are instructions. They tell your mind what direction to follow. And over time, your mind learns to listen. The shift that changes your path. When you take control of your inner world, your outer world begins to shift. You make better decisions. You build healthier habits. You feel more grounded, more clear, and more deliberate in your actions. You stop living in reaction mode and start living in creation mode. This chapter is your starting point. It is the moment where awareness replaces old patterns. It is the moment where you begin to lead your thoughts instead of following them. It is the moment you step into your own power. Taking control does not mean you stop facing challenges. It means you stop facing them unprepared. It means you face them with a mind that is steady, intentional and awake. This is the beginning of mastery. Not mastery over the world, but mastery over yourself. And that is the moment where everything begins to change. Chapter 2. How your thoughts shape your life. Every moment of your life is influenced by a simple but powerful force. Your thoughts. The way you think determines how you feel. How you feel determines what you do. And what you do shapes the results you live with every day. Most people underestimate this connection. They treat thoughts as random visitors. They believe thoughts appear out of nowhere and disappear on their own. But the truth is different. Thoughts are not random. They are patterns. They are habits. And they have a direct effect on the direction of your life. This chapter will show you how those patterns work and how you can begin to use them with intention. The hidden power behind every action. Think about the simple act of getting out of bed. Some mornings you jump up with energy. Other mornings you stay under the blanket and delay the day. The difference is not the alarm clock. The difference is your thought in that first moment. A thought like today is going to be stressful pulls you backward. A thought like I can handle today moves you forward. One thought pushes. One thought lifts. The action is the same, but the thought behind it changes the entire experience. This is the secret many people never learn. Your life is not shaped by events alone. It is shaped by the meaning you give those events through your thoughts. A real-world example: the two employees. Imagine two employees working at the same company. They receive the same tasks, the same deadlines and the same challenges. The first employee thinks, "Why does everything fall on me? This is too much. I can't keep up." Those thoughts create pressure. Pressure creates stress. Stress slows progress. The day becomes heavy and exhausting. The second employee thinks, "This is a lot, but I can break it down. I can handle this step by step." Those thoughts create clarity. Clarity creates momentum. Momentum makes the day productive and manageable. Two people, same situation, different thought patterns, different results. This is how powerful your thoughts are. They can turn the same moment into a burden or an opportunity. The thought loop that shapes your reality. Every thought creates a response, and that response becomes a habit. When you repeat a thought often enough, it becomes a loop. A simple loop may look like this. A thought appears. You react emotionally. Your emotion affects your behavior. Your behavior creates a result. That result reinforces the original thought. For example, "I am not good at this." You feel doubt, you hesitate, or avoid the task. The result is poor performance, and the poor performance makes the thought feel true. But the loop also works the other way. "I can learn this." You feel steady and open. You try with patience. The result is progress, and progress strengthens the belief that you can grow. Your life is built from the loops you repeat, interrupting negative thought patterns. Most negative thinking patterns are old. You did not create them yesterday. You learned them from past experiences, old fears, or earlier failures. These patterns become automatic, which makes them feel real. But automatic does not mean accurate. The first step to breaking a negative loop is to notice it. Say it out loud in your mind. Label it. Recognize it as a pattern, not a truth. For example, that thought is a fear. That thought is doubt. That thought is old conditioning. Once you name the thought, you weaken its emotional hold. You create space between the thought and your action. And in that space you gain the power to choose a different response. Replacing thoughts with intentional direction. Your mind needs direction. If you do not guide it, it will return to old patterns. So you replace unhelpful thoughts with clear, steady instructions. This does not mean repeating unrealistic statements. Instead, you use thoughts that encourage growth. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," you say, "I can try the next step." Instead of saying, "This is too stressful," you say, "I can approach this with calm." Instead of saying, "I always fail," you say, "I can learn from this." These small shifts change the emotional tone of your day. They turn resistance into progress. They build inner strength over time. The long-term impact of thought mastery. When you learn to direct your thoughts, your life begins to change. You gain more confidence. You handle challenges with clarity. You understand your emotions instead of drowning in them. You build healthier habits. You create a mindset that supports your goals. Thought mastery does not require perfection. It requires awareness and intention. With practice, your thoughts begin to work with you instead of against you. And when your thoughts support your growth, your entire life follows. This chapter is your reminder that every thought matters. Each thought is a seed. Some seeds grow into fear. Some grow into strength. You choose which one you plant. Your life becomes the garden of those choices. Chapter 3. The inner voice you cannot ignore. There is a voice inside you that speaks long before you take action. It speaks when you wake up. It speaks when you make decisions. It speaks when you face challenges, doubts, or opportunities. This voice shapes your confidence, your mood, and the direction of your life. You hear it every day, yet most people never stop to understand it. This is the inner voice. It never goes silent. It guides, warns, pushes, or pulls you in ways that feel natural but are deeply influential. The key to mastering your mind is learning how to listen to this voice with awareness, not fear. The voice that lives in the background. Your inner voice does not always use full sentences. Sometimes it speaks through feelings, sometimes through quick thoughts, sometimes through a simple sense of yes or no. It may whisper, "You should try," or "You are not ready," or "This matters." Because it speaks quietly, it often feels like part of your personality. But it is not your personality. It is the result of your experiences, beliefs, and memories. It is a collection of lessons your mind has carried over time. For example, if you failed at something years ago, your inner voice may still say, "Be careful." If you succeeded once, it may say, "Try again." These messages are not random. They are echoes from your past, influencing your present. A story of two voices. Imagine a young man preparing to give a speech for the first time. He stands backstage, holding his notes, with a shaking hand. In that moment, two voices appear. One voice says, "You are going to embarrass yourself. You are not ready." The other voice says, "You practiced. You care. You can do this." Both voices feel real. Both voices feel urgent. Which one he listens to determines how he steps onto the stage. If he listens to fear, he steps back. If he listens to courage, he steps forward. The event has not changed. Only the voice that guides him has. This story reflects something true for all of us. Your inner voice can make you shrink, or help you rise. The problem with letting the wrong voice lead. When your inner voice goes unchecked, it can build a pattern of self-doubt. It can convince you that you are not capable, even when you are. It can make you avoid opportunities. It can turn small discomforts into large fears. It can stop growth before it begins. This voice often repeats old messages you heard long ago. Messages like, "You are not good enough. You always mess up. No one will understand you. You should stay safe." If you do not question these messages, they become your truth. You begin to live as if every word is accurate. But the voice is not the truth. It is a habit. Bringing awareness to the inner dialogue. You cannot change a voice you do not hear. So the first step is awareness. Instead of reacting automatically, pause and observe. Ask yourself, what is my inner voice telling me? Is this voice supporting me or limiting me? Does this message come from my present or from my past? This simple questioning breaks the pattern. It separates you from the old script. It allows you to choose how you respond. For example, if the voice says, "You will fail," you can respond with, "That is fear speaking, not fact." When you name the voice, you weaken its power, shifting the tone of the inner voice. Mastery is not about silencing the inner voice. It is about guiding it. You teach it how to speak to you. You show it how to support you instead of stopping you. Begin with small shifts. If this is hard, I can learn. If I feel nervous, I can breathe. If I am unsure, I can take one step. These phrases are calm, clear, and realistic. They create a tone of steady courage. Over time, your inner voice adopts this tone automatically. Think of it as training a guide. At first it may resist. It may return to old fears. But with repetition it learns your new direction, using the inner voice as a source of strength. Your inner voice can become one of your greatest strengths. It can remind you of your progress. It can help you stay grounded in stressful moments. It can guide you toward better choices with wisdom and clarity. For example, when you face a setback, the voice can say, "This is part of the journey." When you feel overwhelmed, it can say, "One thing at a time." When you succeed, it can say, "You earned this." The inner voice becomes a partner instead of an obstacle, a leader instead of a critic, a source of stability in a world of noise. The voice you follow shapes the life you build. Your thoughts shape your life, but your inner voice shapes your thoughts. It stands at the doorway of your decisions. It influences your confidence, your habits, and your emotional direction. If the voice is fearful, life feels narrow. If the voice is steady, life feels open. This chapter is your invitation to begin listening with awareness, to question old messages, to guide your inner voice with clarity and intention. Because when your inner voice grows stronger and wiser, so do you. From this moment on, treat your inner voice as a guide you are shaping every day. Teach it to support your future, not your past. Teach it to speak in ways that help you move forward. And the more you guide it, the more it guides you toward the life you want to live. Chapter 4. Breaking free from negative loops. There are moments when you feel stuck. Even when you are trying to move forward, you feel as if you are walking in circles. You repeat the same patterns, face the same doubts, and fall into the same emotional traps. This is not because you lack ability or strength. It is because your mind has learned certain loops, and those loops run on their own. A negative loop is a cycle where one thought triggers an emotion, which triggers a behavior, which creates a result that reinforces the original thought. It feels automatic. It feels natural, but it is not permanent. You can break these loops, and when you do, your entire life begins to change. This chapter is about understanding those loops and learning how to escape them with clarity and intention. How negative loops begin. Negative loops do not begin with big events. They begin with small moments that repeat over time. A missed opportunity, a harsh comment from someone you trusted, a feeling of failure you could not explain. Your mind stores these moments, and over the years they turn into patterns. Imagine someone who once stumbled while speaking in front of a group. It may have been a small moment, but if he kept thinking, "I am bad at this," that thought grew into a loop. Each time he faced a similar situation, the loop activated automatically. Thought, emotion, reaction, reinforcement. The loop becomes stronger, not because it is true but because it is repeated. The silent loops that shape your day. Negative loops can appear in many forms. A loop of doubt. I am not ready. You hesitate. You miss the chance. You feel regret. The doubt becomes stronger. A loop of fear. This will go wrong. Your heart races. You avoid the challenge. You see no progress. The fear feels justified. A loop of frustration. Nothing ever changes. Your mood drops. You stop trying. Life feels heavier. The frustration grows. These loops run quietly in the background, and because they feel familiar, you rarely question them. A story of a mind held by a loop. There was a woman who dreamed of starting her own small business. She planned, she researched, she imagined the life she wanted. But every time she thought about taking the first step, the same loop played. The thought said, "What if you fail?" The emotion said, "You are not ready." The behavior said, "Not today." The result said, "You stayed the same." Years passed. Her dream stayed alive, but her loop kept her frozen. When she finally recognized the pattern, everything changed. Not because the fear disappeared, but because she saw it for what it was. A loop, not a truth. Awareness is the first step toward freedom. Breaking the loop through awareness. To break a loop you must interrupt it. But interruption does not begin with action. It begins with awareness. Ask yourself, what thought is starting this loop? What emotion follows this thought? What behavior does it create? What result does it produce? You do not judge the loop. You simply see it. This simple observation creates space between you and the pattern. That space is where change begins. The power of a 5-second pause. A pause is one of the most powerful tools you have. When you pause, you stop the loop from running automatically. You stop the old pattern from taking over. You give your mind a moment to choose. For example, when the loop says, "You cannot do this," pause for 5 seconds. Breathe deeply. Then respond with a clear direction. "I am choosing one small step." This breaks the automatic chain. The thought loses strength. The emotion softens. The behavior shifts. And the result begins to change. Replacing the loop with a better pattern. Breaking a loop is only half of the process. You must replace it with a better pattern. Instead of "I always fail," use "I can learn through progress." Instead of "This is too much," use "I can handle this in small steps." Instead of "I am not capable," use "I can grow into this." These new patterns may feel unfamiliar at first, but repetition builds strength. The old loop becomes weaker. The new loop becomes natural. You are not trying to force positivity. You are building a healthier direction for your thoughts, using action to reinforce the new pattern. Small actions are powerful. They give your mind proof that change is possible. They show you that the loop is no longer in control. If your loop is doubt, take a small step forward. If your loop is fear, take a gentle but intentional action. If your loop is frustration, try changing one small part of your routine. Every small action becomes a message to your mind. A message that says, "We are not repeating the past. We are moving forward." This is how you replace the cycle. Thought, emotion, action, result. A new loop begins. The freedom beyond a loop. Breaking free from negative loops is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming aware. It is about choosing your direction instead of being pulled by old patterns. It is about reclaiming control over your thoughts, emotions and actions. When you break a loop, your life opens up. You feel lighter. You think clearer. You see possibilities that were once hidden behind fear or doubt. This chapter is your reminder that you are not trapped by your patterns. You can shift them. You can guide them. You can create new loops that support your growth. The moment you take responsibility for your loops is the moment you step into freedom. Chapter 5. The Power of Emotion Awareness. Your emotions speak before your words do. They shape the tone of your day, the quality of your choices, and the direction of your life. Yet most people move through life without ever paying attention to them. They feel anger, but do not know why. They feel sadness but cannot explain it. They feel anxiety, pressure, or frustration, yet believe these emotions just happen. But emotions do not appear without reason. They are signals. They are messages. They are your mind's way of telling you how it interprets the world. Emotion awareness is the skill of hearing those messages clearly and responding with intention. This chapter will help you recognize your emotions, understand them, and use them as tools instead of obstacles. Why emotion awareness matters. Your emotions influence every part of your life. They shape your thoughts. They affect your relationships. They decide how you act under pressure. They can move you forward or force you backward. If you ignore your emotions, they control you. If you notice them, you guide them, and that difference changes everything. Imagine waking up feeling off, but you do not know why. The day becomes harder. Small challenges feel heavier. You feel tired before the day has even begun. But if you recognize the emotion early, you can work with it. You can understand it. You can prevent it from controlling your choices. Awareness gives you power. Avoidance takes it away. The story about a hidden emotion. There was a man who always became irritated when someone asked him for help at work. He thought he was simply overwhelmed. He believed the emotion was stress. But after paying attention one day, he noticed something different. The irritation came not from stress, but from a deeper emotion. He felt unappreciated. Once he named it, everything changed. He could respond calmly. He could communicate clearly. He could set boundaries without anger. The emotion had not disappeared, but awareness transformed it. This is the power of naming what you feel. A hidden emotion controls your life. A recognized emotion guides it. Emotions are not the enemy. Many people see emotions as problems. They believe anger is bad. They believe sadness is weakness. They believe fear is failure. But emotions are not the problem. The problem is reacting before understanding them. Anger tells you something feels unfair. Sadness tells you something needs healing. Fear tells you something matters. Anxiety tells you something needs preparation. Every emotion has a purpose. When you understand the message, the emotion becomes useful. When you ignore it, the emotion becomes overwhelming. The 3 steps of emotion awareness. Emotion awareness can be simple. It begins with 3 steps. Step 1. Pause and notice. Before reacting, take a breath. Let yourself feel without judgment. Ask, what am I feeling right now? Step 2. Name the emotion. Naming creates clarity. It separates you from the feeling. For example, I feel irritated. I feel anxious. I feel excited. I feel disappointed. A named emotion becomes manageable. Step 3. Understand the message. Ask, why is this emotion here? What is it trying to tell me? What do I need right now? This process takes seconds, but the impact lasts for hours. How emotions influence thought. Your emotions shape the thoughts your mind chooses. When you feel stressed, your thoughts become rushed. When you feel calm, your thoughts become clear. When you feel fearful, your thoughts focus on danger. When you feel confident, your thoughts focus on possibility. This connection is important because it shows you something powerful. If you want healthier thoughts, you must understand the emotion behind them. Changing your thinking is easier when you first recognize what you feel, responding instead of reacting. When you lack emotion awareness, you react quickly. You say something you regret. You snap at someone you care about. You avoid decisions. You freeze under pressure. You stay silent when you should speak. But with emotion awareness, you respond instead. A reaction is automatic. A response is intentional. For example, if someone criticizes you and you feel anger, The automatic reaction may be to defend yourself. But when you pause and recognize the emotion, you choose a clearer response. You might say, "Let me think about that," or "I hear what you are saying," or "Can we discuss this calmly?" Emotion awareness gives you control over your direction instead of letting the moment control you. Using emotion awareness in daily life. Emotion awareness is not just a personal skill, it improves every part of your daily life. In conversations, it helps you speak with clarity. In decision-making, it helps you stay balanced. In stressful situations, it helps you stay grounded. In relationships, it helps you show understanding and patience. In self-growth, it helps you identify what needs attention. The more aware you become, the more control you gain. The gift of emotional mastery. Mastering your emotions does not mean you stop feeling. It means you start listening. It means you understand the message behind the feeling. It means you choose your actions from a place of clarity, not confusion. When you are aware of your emotions, you become steadier. You become calmer. You become more intentional. Your choices become clearer. Your relationships become stronger. Your mind becomes easier to guide. Emotion awareness is not just a skill, it is a doorway. A doorway to a more grounded, more stable, and more empowered version of yourself. This chapter is your reminder that every emotion has a message. Every message has a purpose. And when you learn to listen, you begin to master your inner world in a deeper and more powerful way. Chapter 6. Focus. The skill that builds every success. Focus is one of the greatest skills you can develop. It is the bridge between intention and achievement. It is the difference between scattered effort and meaningful progress. And it is the foundation behind every success story you have ever heard. Yet focus is also one of the rarest abilities today. The world is filled with noise, notifications, responsibilities, distractions, decisions, and endless options pull your attention in every direction. With so many things competing for your mind, staying focused feels like a challenge. But focus is not a talent. It is a trained skill, and once you learn how to build it, every part of your life becomes clearer and more effective. This chapter will help you understand focus, strengthen it, and use it to create the results you truly want. Why focus matters. Every action you take is shaped by your ability to stay present. Without focus, tasks feel heavy and slow. You start something, stop halfway, switch to something else, and end your day with unfinished work. This creates frustration, confusion, and stress. But with focus, everything changes. You work with intention. You make progress faster. You feel confident because your actions have direction. You do not try to do everything. You choose what matters and give it your attention fully. Focus multiplies the value of your effort. A story about the power of single attention. There was a young student who struggled with his grades. He spent hours studying every night, but remembered almost nothing. His teacher watched him and quickly saw the problem. The student did not lack intelligence. He lacked focus. He studied with his phone nearby. He switched subjects often. He thought about everything except the work in front of him. One day the teacher gave him a different challenge. Study for 20 minutes, she said. But do only one thing. Nothing else. The student agreed. By the end of the week his memory improved. His confidence improved. His results improved. Not because he studied more, but because he learned how to focus. This story shows a simple truth. Even a few minutes of pure attention are more powerful than hours of divided effort. The mind wants to wander. Your mind does not like to stay in one place. It jumps from thought to thought. It looks for new stimulation. It tries to protect you from boredom by seeking something more interesting. This wandering mind is natural, but it weakens focus. When your attention shifts constantly, your mind never settles long enough to create depth or progress. Understanding this helps you stay patient with yourself. A wandering mind is not failure. It is simply a sign that you must guide it gently back to the task. The cost of broken focus. When focus breaks repeatedly, your productivity drops. You work longer, but achieve less. You fill your day with activity instead of results. Your mind becomes tired from switching tasks, even when the tasks are small. Broken focus also affects your emotions. You feel overwhelmed. You feel behind. You doubt your ability to finish anything. This doubt then becomes another distraction. But when focus becomes steady, the opposite happens. You feel calm. You feel organized. You feel capable. You trust yourself. This emotional stability becomes fuel for everything you do. How to strengthen your focus. Focus strengthens with practice. Start with simple actions that train your attention. Practice 1. Single tasking. Choose one task. Work on it until a small goal is complete. Do not switch tasks. Do not multitask. Single tasking trains your mind to stay present. Practice 2. Time blocks. Set a timer for 10 or 15 minutes. Give full attention for that time. Rest when the timer ends. This builds mental endurance. Practice 3. Remove obvious distractions. Put your phone away. Close unnecessary tabs. Clear your space. A focused environment creates a focused mind. Practice 4. Create a daily top 3 list. Choose the 3 most important tasks for the day. Work on them first. When you know your priorities, your mind stays directed. These simple practices build strong mental discipline. The role of clarity in focus. Focus becomes easier when you know what you are aiming for. Lack of clarity creates confusion. Confusion divides attention. Divided attention weakens results. When your goal is clear, your mind naturally aligns with it. You stop wasting energy on doubts and hesitation. You move forward with purpose. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing right now? What outcome do I want from this moment? What deserves my full attention? Clear answers create clear focus. Protecting your mental energy. Focus is not just about attention. It is about energy. Your mind cannot stay sharp if you are exhausted, overwhelmed or emotionally drained. Protect your mental energy by creating routines that support you. Get enough rest. Take short breaks during long tasks. Eat in a way that keeps your body steady. Spend time away from screens. These small habits keep your mind in a strong, focused state. Think of your mind as a battery. You must recharge it to maintain consistent performance. The confidence that comes from focus. When you strengthen your focus, something powerful happens. You begin to trust yourself. You know you can stay committed. You know you can finish what you start. You know you can guide your thoughts instead of being pulled by distractions. This confidence spreads into every part of your life. Your work improves. Your relationships grow stronger because you listen better. Your goals feel reachable because your actions are consistent. Focus creates momentum. Momentum creates success. The mind you control leads you forward. Focus is not about forcing yourself. It is about directing yourself. It is about choosing what matters and giving it the attention it deserves. It is about training your mind to stay with you, not wander away from you. Every moment you practice focus, you strengthen your inner foundation. You develop a mind that is steady, intentional, and capable. And with that mind you can build any future you choose. This chapter is your reminder that success starts with attention. Not intense pressure, but steady presence. Not perfect focus, but practiced focus. A mind that stays with its purpose is a mind that cannot be stopped. Chapter 7. Discipline. Your mind's greatest weapon. Discipline is not about pressure. It is not about perfection. It is not about forcing yourself to work harder than everyone else. Discipline is the quiet strength that helps you do what matters, even when you do not feel like doing it. It is the ability to stay consistent when motivation fades. It is the commitment to choose long-term growth over short-term comfort. And it is one of the most powerful tools your mind can develop. Motivation can inspire you, but discipline carries you. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline creates results. This chapter will help you understand what discipline truly is, how to build it, and why it becomes your greatest mental weapon on the path to mastery. The truth about discipline. Many people misunderstand discipline. They see it as something harsh or restrictive. They imagine a rigid mindset that takes away freedom. But discipline is not a prison. Discipline is a foundation. It gives you the structure you need to succeed. It protects your goals from being destroyed by distractions and impulses. Think of discipline as a promise you make to yourself. A promise to stay committed to the person you want to become. A promise to show up, even when the day feels heavy. A promise to act with intention, not impulse. Discipline gives you freedom, not limitation. Freedom from chaos. Freedom from old habits. Freedom from the mind that once pulled you in too many directions. A story of two paths. There was a young man who wanted to become a writer. He had ideas. He had excitement. He had dreams of publishing a book one day, but weeks passed, then months, and he wrote nothing. He waited for the perfect moment. He waited for inspiration. He waited for motivation. One day an older writer gave him advice that changed everything. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The older writer said, create the moment. Sit down every day. Even if you write one sentence. Discipline brings the inspiration, not the other way around. The young man listened. He set a simple rule. Write for 15 minutes every morning. Some days he wrote pages. Some days he wrote one paragraph. Some days he wrote nothing worth keeping. But he showed up, and within a year, he completed his first book. It was not talent alone that made him successful. It was discipline. Why discipline feels difficult? Discipline feels difficult because your mind wants comfort. Comfort feels safe. Comfort feels easy. Comfort requires no effort. Your mind will always try to protect you from discomfort, even when discomfort leads to growth. This is why discipline often feels like a battle. Not a battle with the world, but a battle with your own impulses. The part of you that wants to grow must lead the part of you that wants to stay the same. Understanding this makes discipline easier. You stop blaming yourself. You realize the resistance is normal, and you learn how to move through it with patience and clarity. The 3 pillars of discipline. Discipline grows through 3 simple pillars. They are easy to understand and powerful when practiced. Pillar 1: clarity. You cannot stay disciplined if you do not know what you want. Define your goals clearly. Know your priorities. Know what matters most today. Clarity removes confusion and strengthens commitment. Pillar 2: simplicity. Discipline collapses when the plan is too complicated. Start small. Choose one action, one habit, one routine. Small steps create momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence strengthens discipline. Pillar 3: consistency. Consistency matters more than intensity. It is better to make small progress every day than to make big progress once in a while. Daily consistency trains your mind to show up, even when you feel distracted or tired. These 3 pillars form the structure of a disciplined mind. Turning discipline into a daily habit. Discipline becomes easier when it becomes a routine. Your mind loves patterns. When you repeat an action at the same time each day, the resistance begins to fade. You can start with simple habits. Sit in silence for 2 minutes. Read 1 page. Write 1 paragraph. Exercise for 10 minutes. Organize your space for 5 minutes. These small disciplines teach your mind to follow your direction. Do not underestimate the power of tiny actions. A small discipline, repeated daily, becomes a powerful force. The role of self-trust. Discipline grows from self-trust. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your inner confidence. You prove to your mind that you can follow through. You show yourself that you are reliable. But when you break promises to yourself, you weaken that trust. You begin to doubt your ability to stay committed. This doubt makes discipline harder. So begin with small promises you can keep. Let your discipline grow naturally. Do not try to change everything at once. 1 kept promise is more valuable than 10 broken intentions. When discipline meets emotion, emotions can either support or sabotage your discipline. There will be days when you feel motivated. On those days, discipline feels easy. But there will be days when you feel tired or discouraged. On those days, discipline becomes your anchor. Instead of asking, "Do I feel like doing this?" ask, "Is this important for the life I want?" This shift moves you away from emotional decision-making. It helps you stay aligned with your goals even when your mood fluctuates. Discipline is not about ignoring emotions. It is about acting with intention, even when emotions shift. The freedom that discipline creates. When discipline becomes part of your life, everything changes. Your mind becomes stronger. Your habits become more aligned with your goals. Your confidence grows deeper. You stop repeating old patterns. You begin to create the life you want with clarity and purpose. Discipline does not limit you. It empowers you. It gives your mind direction. It gives your actions meaning. It removes confusion and brings order into your inner world. Discipline becomes your greatest weapon because it gives you control over your future, not through force but through consistent choice. This chapter is your reminder that discipline is not about perfection. It is about progress. It is about showing up. It is about doing the things that matter, even when the moment is not perfect. When you build discipline, you build a mind prepared for success in every area of life. Chapter 8. The environments that shape your mind. Your mind does not grow in isolation. It grows inside an environment. Every place you enter, every person you interact with, and every routine you follow sends signals to your mind. These signals shape your energy, your confidence, your habits, and your decisions. Most people try to change their life by changing their thoughts alone. Thoughts matter, but the environment you live in plays a powerful role. Your environment can lift you up or pull you down. It can help you grow or keep you stuck. It can support your goals or silently work against them. This chapter will help you understand how your surroundings influence your mind and how you can design an environment that supports the life you want. The environment you live in is a constant teacher. Your environment teaches you without words. It teaches you through patterns and cues. A messy room teaches distraction. A calm space teaches clarity. A loud environment teaches urgency. A peaceful one teaches patience. These lessons are subtle, but they shape your daily behavior. For example, imagine waking up in a room filled with clutter. The moment you open your eyes, your mind feels overwhelmed. You may not say it out loud, but your mind whispers, "There is too much to handle." Now imagine waking up in a clean and organized room. Your mind feels lighter. You feel ready to begin the day. You start with a sense of control. Same person, same morning, different environment, different mental state. A story about a mentor's office. There was a man who visited a mentor for guidance. He expected deep advice, long discussions and complex strategies. But when he entered the mentor's office, he noticed something surprising. The room was simple. A clean desk, a notebook, a pen, a plant by the window. Nothing extra. The man asked, "Why is your office so empty?" The mentor smiled and said, "When my space is clear, my mind is clear. I keep nothing that distracts me from what I am here to do." The man later realized something important. The space was part of the mentor's discipline. It was not just a room. It was a mental environment built to support focus and purpose. This shows that your surroundings are not just physical. They influence the quality of your thoughts. The people around you shape your inner world. Your environment is not only made of places, it is also made of people. And people have a powerful effect on your mind. Some people lift your energy, some drain it, some encourage you, some discourage you, some help you grow, some hold you back without even realizing it. You absorb more than you notice from the people around you. Their habits, moods, beliefs and expectations influence your own. If you spend time with people who constantly complain, you begin to notice problems more than possibilities. If you spend time with people who push themselves to grow, you begin to see opportunity everywhere. Your mind adjusts to the company it keeps. The invisible influence of daily spaces. Every place you visit shapes your thinking in some way. Your home, your workplace, your neighborhood, your digital environment, your social media, your routines. These spaces either give your mind energy or take it away. For example, a loud workplace creates stress. A quiet corner boosts focus. A bright room lifts your mood. A dark room lowers motivation. A supportive online space encourages growth. A toxic one increases anxiety. These influences may feel small, but they add up every day. Designing an environment that supports success. You do not need a perfect environment. You need a supportive one. An environment that helps you grow instead of holding you back. Here are simple ways to do that. Create a space for focus. A desk or a corner where you work without distraction. This tells your mind, this is where progress happens. Keep your surroundings clean and organized. Clutter creates mental noise. Order creates mental clarity. Set small cues that remind you of your goals. A notebook on your desk. A quote on the wall. A habit tracker. These cues guide your mind daily. Limit negative influences. Reduce time with people who drain your energy. Limit digital spaces that create stress. Protect your mind from unnecessary noise. Add elements that lift your mood. A plant, a window, a soft light, calm background music. Small details create emotional comfort, which increases motivation. These changes may seem simple, but they have a powerful effect on your mind. Your digital environment matters too. In today's world, much of your environment is digital. Your phone, your apps, your social media, and your online routines shape your thoughts. Ask yourself, what do I see every day? What do I consume? Who do I follow? How does it make me feel? Your digital environment can inspire you or overwhelm you. It can educate you or distract you. It can support your goals or steal your focus. Choose wisely. Protect your attention. Surround yourself with content that strengthens your mind. The power of environmental alignment. Your environment and your goals must work together. If you want clarity, create order. If you want discipline, build routines. If you want peace, remove unnecessary noise. If you want growth, surround yourself with people and spaces that support growth. When your environment aligns with your purpose, progress becomes easier. Your actions feel natural, not forced. Your habits become steady, not inconsistent. Your mind becomes calm, not chaotic. A supportive environment does not solve every problem, but it removes unnecessary obstacles. It gives your mind room to breathe. It gives your goals room to grow. You shape the environment, and then it shapes you. Your environment influences your mind, but you have the power to design your environment. This is where your control begins. You choose what stays. You choose what goes. You choose what you allow into your inner world. When you take responsibility for your environment, you take responsibility for your future, not through pressure, but through awareness, not through perfection, but through intention. This chapter is your reminder that your surroundings are not just background details. They are active forces shaping your life every day. Build environments that help you grow. Protect your mind from environments that weaken you. Shape the world around you so your mind can rise to its strongest version. Chapter 9. Mastering stress before it masters you. Stress touches every life. It shows up in busy schedules, sudden challenges, unexpected changes, and even in the pressure you put on yourself. Stress can push you forward or pull you down. It can sharpen your focus or scatter your thoughts. It can make you stronger or leave you exhausted. The difference lies not in the amount of stress, but in how you respond to it. You cannot avoid every stressful moment, but you can master how your mind handles them. When you learn to understand stress, instead of fighting it blindly, you gain a level of control that changes the entire direction of your life. This chapter will help you see stress clearly, manage it wisely, and stop it from controlling your thoughts, emotions, and behavior. What stress really is. Stress is not the enemy. Stress is a signal. It is your mind's way of saying, pay attention. Something needs your energy. You feel stress when your mind senses a challenge. You feel stress when something matters to you. You feel stress when you believe your resources may not be enough for the moment ahead. Stress is not weakness. Stress means you care. But when stress goes unmanaged, it becomes overwhelming. It begins to affect your thinking, your emotions, and your actions. It can take over your day without you realizing it. Mastering stress begins with understanding the message behind it. A story about a moment of overwhelm. There was a woman who worked in a busy office. One morning she arrived at work and saw 3 urgent emails, 2 missed calls, and a deadline she forgot was approaching. Her heart raced, her breath shortened, her mind became cloudy. She felt trapped in a rush of stress. Instead of reacting, she stepped away from her desk for 1 minute. She placed her hand on her chest and breathed slowly. She told herself, "This is stress speaking. Let me listen for a moment." In that quiet space, she realized the truth. She was not overwhelmed because of the tasks. She was overwhelmed because she believed she had to do everything at once. When she understood that, the stress softened. She organized her tasks into small steps. She worked with calm, one piece at a time. By the end of the day, everything was done, without panic. This simple moment shows a powerful lesson. Stress is not the workload. Stress is the story your mind tells about the workload. How stress influences your mind. When stress rises, your mind changes its priorities. You stop thinking long-term. You look only at the danger or pressure in front of you. Your thoughts become fast, sharp, and sometimes chaotic. Your emotions react quickly. Your patience becomes shorter. Your focus becomes unstable. This is not failure. It is your mind trying to protect you. But protection is not always helpful when you need clarity, stability, and good decisions. Mastering stress means guiding your mind back into balance. The stress cycle you must break. Unmanaged stress creates a cycle. A challenge appears. You feel pressure. Your mind reacts with fear or urgency. Your behavior becomes rushed or avoidant. The results suffer. The poor results increase your stress. The cycle repeats. But the moment you interrupt even one part of this cycle, everything shifts. You can interrupt it with breath, with awareness, with clarity, with a single calm action. Your goal is not to remove stress, but to prevent it from taking over. The power of the pause in stressful moments. When stress rises, your first instinct is to act quickly, but fast reactions often create more pressure. A short pause gives your mind space to reset. Here is a simple method. Pause. Breathe deeply. Name the stress. Choose the next small step. For example, I feel stressed because the task feels big. My next step is to begin the first piece. This approach shifts your mind from reaction to intention. It turns stress from a threat into a manageable signal. Managing stress through clarity. Stress grows in confusion. When you do not know where to start, everything feels bigger than it is. Clarity reduces stress immediately. Break tasks into smaller pieces. Write things down. Create a simple plan. Choose one priority at a time. When your mind sees a clear path, stress loses its power. Clarity turns chaos into structure. Managing stress through the body. The mind and body work together. When your body is tense, your mind feels pressure. When your body is calm, your mind becomes steady. You can reduce stress quickly by calming your body. Take a slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Stand up and stretch. Walk for 2 minutes. Sip water slowly. These actions tell your mind, you are safe. You are grounded. You can handle this. A calm body supports a calm mind. Managing stress through thought awareness. Stress thrives on unchallenged thoughts. Thoughts like I cannot get this done. I am behind. This will go wrong. I am not ready. When you accept these thoughts automatically, stress grows. But when you question them, stress loses its intensity. Ask yourself, what is the truth here? What is the next step I can take? Is this fear or fact? What would I tell someone else in this situation? These questions shift your thinking from fear to clarity. Managing stress through daily habits. Small habits reduce long-term stress. They give your mind a stable foundation. Create simple routines. Sleep well. Eat in a way that supports your energy. Spend time without screens. Reflect on your day. Keep a small journal of your thoughts. Practice gratitude to balance your emotional state. These habits build resilience. They make you stronger before stress even appears. The strength you gain from stress mastery. When you learn to master stress, you gain more than calmness. You gain confidence. You gain clarity. You gain emotional balance. You gain the ability to face challenges with strength instead of fear. Stress mastery helps you handle pressure. Stay focused. Think clearly. And take action, even when the moment feels intense. It turns stressful moments into opportunities for growth. This chapter is your reminder that you do not need a life without stress. You need a mind trained to rise above stress. A mind that sees challenges clearly. A mind that chooses calm over chaos. A mind that leads itself with strength. Master your stress, and stress will never master you. Chapter 10. Building a mindset for growth. A growth mindset is not a slogan. It is not a positive phrase you repeat once in a while. A growth mindset is a way of thinking that shapes how you see yourself, your challenges, and your future. It determines whether you rise after difficulty or remain stuck. It decides whether you see potential or limitations. It guides how you respond when life tests your strength. This chapter will help you understand what a growth mindset truly is, how it develops, and how you can use it to build a life of progress, resilience, and purpose. The difference between growth and stagnation. There are two main ways the mind approaches life. One says, "This is who I am." The other says, "This is who I can become." A stagnant mindset focuses on limits. It avoids risk. It fears failure. It believes ability is fixed and unchangeable. It protects comfort at the cost of progress. A growth mindset focuses on possibilities. It welcomes challenge. It sees failure as information. It believes ability grows through effort. It values improvement over perfection. The mindset you choose becomes the lens through which you live your life. A story about the two students. A teacher once gave her class a difficult puzzle. Two students responded very differently. The first looked at the puzzle, sighed and said, "I can't do this." He pushed the paper aside and waited for the answer. The second student studied the puzzle with curiosity. He struggled. He made mistakes. But he kept trying. When the teacher asked why he was so calm, he said, "I like challenges. They make me smarter." Both students started with the same problem, but the beliefs behind their efforts shaped their results. One stopped before he began. The other grew while he struggled. This is the core of a growth mindset. The belief that you can get better changes what you are willing to try. Seeing failure through a new lens. People with a stagnant mindset fear failure because they believe it defines them. They think failure means they are not capable. They believe it exposes their limits. But a growth mindset sees failure as feedback. It sees failure as part of the journey. It understands that mistakes are proof you are learning. It believes progress comes from practice, not perfection. When you shift the meaning of failure, everything becomes possible. You stop avoiding challenges. You start approaching them with courage. You learn more, grow more, and achieve more, becoming curious about your own potential. Growth begins with curiosity. Curiosity opens your mind. Curiosity says, "What can I learn from this?" Curiosity asks, "What is the next level I can reach?" Curiosity removes judgment and replaces it with exploration. Instead of asking, "Why am I not good at this?" ask, "How can I become better at this?" Instead of asking, "Why is this so hard?" ask, "What skill can I develop to make this easier?" Curiosity turns frustration into learning. It transforms challenges into invitations to grow. The role of effort in growth. Effort is not a sign of weakness. Effort is the engine of growth. You grow when you push beyond what is comfortable. You grow when you repeat a skill until it becomes easier. You grow when you stay patient with yourself. The most successful people in the world are not always the most talented. They are the ones who keep showing up. They are the ones who stay consistent. They are the ones who believe effort leads somewhere meaningful. Effort is a form of self-respect. It shows your mind that your goals matter. The importance of self-talk in growth. Your inner dialogue either supports your growth or stops it. A stagnant mindset says, "You can't do this." A growth mindset says, "You can learn this." A stagnant mindset says, "You failed again." A growth mindset says, "This is part of the process." A stagnant mindset says, "Others are better than you." A growth mindset says, "You can develop your own strengths." Your self-talk becomes the voice that guides your path. Choose words that lift you toward growth. Growth through small, steady steps. A growth mindset does not require giant leaps. It thrives on small, steady steps. Tiny improvements repeated over time lead to extraordinary results. Read 1 page. Practice 5 minutes. Learn 1 idea. Take 1 small action each day. These steps build momentum. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence becomes fuel for long-term growth. You do not need to transform everything at once. Just move forward 1 small step at a time, surrounding yourself with growth environments. Your mindset grows faster when you place yourself in environments that encourage growth. Spend time with people who challenge you. Learn from people who think bigger. Seek mentors who support your progress. Consume content that expands your perspective. Choose experiences that stretch your abilities. You shape your environment, and your environment shapes your mindset. Growth is a daily choice. Growth is not a moment. It is a decision you make again and again. A choice to stay open. A choice to stay committed. A choice to believe that improvement is always possible. Some days you grow quickly. Some days you grow slowly. Some days you simply hold steady. All of it counts. All of it matters. A growth mindset does not ask you to be perfect. It asks you to stay willing, becoming the person you are capable of being. When you build a growth mindset, you unlock a deeper version of yourself. A version that sees challenges as opportunities. A version that stays resilient under pressure. A version that believes in its potential. A version that grows stronger each day. Your mind is capable of incredible change. Your future is shaped by what you choose to believe about yourself today. This chapter is your reminder that growth is always available. You can learn. You can improve. You can rise. You can become more than you once believed. A growth mindset is not something you inherit. It is something you build. And once you build it, it becomes the foundation for every success that follows. Chapter 11. Rewriting your identity. Your identity is the story you tell yourself about who you are. It guides your behavior. It shapes your actions. It influences your choices without you even noticing. Identity is powerful because your mind always tries to stay consistent with it. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, you act in ways that confirm that belief. If you see yourself as someone who grows, you act in ways that support growth. Your identity becomes a quiet force steering your life. Many people try to change their habits, routines or goals without ever changing the identity behind them. They change the surface but not the foundation. That is why change feels temporary or difficult. Real transformation begins when you rewrite who you believe yourself to be. This chapter will help you understand identity, reshape it, and align it with the life you want to build. Identity, the invisible blueprint. Identity is like a blueprint. Your mind follows. It tells you how to act, how to respond, and what to expect from yourself. You may not notice it, but it influences everything. For example, if you believe you are not disciplined, you act accordingly. If you believe you are bad with money, you avoid financial responsibility. If you believe you are not confident, you step back from opportunities. Your actions follow your identity. Your habits grow from your identity. Your emotions reflect your identity. This is why changing your life becomes easier when you update the blueprint. A story about a man who saw himself differently. There was a man who always said, "I am not a runner." He believed running was for athletes, not for someone like him. One day, a friend invited him to join a short morning jog. He agreed, but kept repeating, "I am not good at this." Halfway through the run he was tired. He wanted to stop, but his friend said something simple, "You are running right now. That makes you a runner." The words surprised him. He never thought of himself that way. The next morning, he tried again, then again. With each step, his identity shifted. He began to say, "I am becoming a runner." Soon he said, "I am a runner." Nothing magical happened. Only one belief changed. His identity evolved, and his behavior evolved with it. This happens in every area of life. Who you believe you are becomes who you become. Where your old identity comes from. Your identity is shaped by many influences. Your childhood, your past experiences, your successes, your failures, your environment, the expectations of others, the stories you repeated to yourself. Some of these influence you in helpful ways, others limit your growth. For example, a comment from a teacher may have shaped how you see your intelligence. A painful moment may have shaped how you see your worth. A success long ago may have shaped how you see your potential. But identity is not fixed. It is flexible, and you have the ability to rewrite it. Identity and behavior. The two-way loop. Your identity shapes your behavior, but your behavior also shapes your identity. This creates a loop. Your belief influences your action. Your action confirms your belief. Your belief grows stronger. For example, if you believe you are inconsistent, you will act inconsistently. Your inconsistent behavior then reinforces the belief. But the loop can work in your favor too. If you take one small disciplined action, you begin to believe you are becoming disciplined. That belief motivates more disciplined action. New belief, new action, new identity. This loop becomes a powerful tool for change. How to rewrite your identity in simple steps. You do not rewrite your identity overnight. You rewrite it one small belief at a time. Here are steps that help the process. Step 1. Name the old identity. Identify the part of your identity that limits you. For example, I see myself as disorganized. I see myself as someone who always quits. I see myself as someone who is not confident. Naming the old identity brings clarity. Step 2. Choose a new identity. Choose a small but meaningful shift. Not something extreme. Something believable and practical. I am becoming more organized. I am someone who follows through. I am learning to be confident. This new identity becomes your direction. Step 3. Take aligned action. Take one small action that matches the new identity. Clean a small part of your space. Complete one task fully. Speak up once in a conversation. A small action becomes proof. Step 4. Repeat the identity through behavior. Identity grows through repetition. Every repeated action builds a new belief. Over time, the new identity becomes natural. Behavior creates identity and identity shapes behavior. Together they transform your life. Self-talk and identity. Your inner voice plays a major role in shaping identity. If you constantly tell yourself I am not good enough, your mind will act according to that belief. If you tell yourself I am improving, your mind begins to see opportunities. Use self-talk that supports your new identity. Speak in calm, clear, believable phrases. I am learning. I am growing. I am becoming stronger. I am building new habits. This gentle language encourages the mind to shift. Environment and identity. Your environment must match your identity. If you want to become disciplined, create a space that supports discipline. If you want to become confident, surround yourself with people who encourage growth. If you want to become healthier, place tools for health within reach. Your environment can reinforce or challenge your identity. Choose an environment that aligns with the person you are becoming. Identity is a continuous journey. Rewriting your identity is not a one-time event. It is a continuous process of becoming. You will evolve. You will outgrow old versions of yourself. You will discover strengths you did not know you had. You will learn to let go of beliefs that no longer fit your future. Identity growth is not about creating a perfect version of yourself. It is about becoming the truest version of yourself. The version aligned with your purpose. The version that supports your dreams. The version that grows with every challenge. You are the author of your story. Identity is not fixed. Identity is not fixed. Identity is not decided by your past. You have the ability to rewrite your story at any moment. You can choose who you want to be. You can choose the beliefs you want to carry. You can choose the values you want to live by. You can choose the habits you want to build. This chapter is your reminder that you are not trapped by who you were. You are free to choose who you become. Rewrite your identity with intention and your life will follow that direction. Chapter 12. The habit loop that runs your life. Every day you repeat dozens of habits without thinking. You wake up at a certain time. You check your phone in a certain way. You respond to stress in a familiar pattern. You choose food, conversations and routines that feel natural. These habits shape your life far more than single decisions ever will. But most people don't realize this. They believe change requires huge willpower. They believe results come from one dramatic transformation. But real transformation comes from the habits you repeat, not the moments you dream about. This chapter will help you understand how habits form, how they control your life, and how you can take back that control with simple intentional shifts. Habits are the automatic programs of your mind. Your mind loves automation. It creates habits to save energy. Once a habit forms, your brain no longer needs to think about it. It becomes automatic. It becomes easy. It becomes familiar. This is useful when the habit is healthy. It becomes dangerous when the habit works against you. For example, if you consistently avoid difficult tasks, avoidance becomes automatic. If you consistently complain when stressed, negativity becomes automatic. If you consistently check your phone when bored, distraction becomes automatic. Your habits become the background music of your life. You may not notice them, but they guide your every step. A story about a simple habit with huge impact. There was a woman who always ended her day feeling exhausted. She constantly said she had no time. But one week she tracked her evening routine. She discovered a surprising pattern. Every night she spent just a few minutes scrolling on her phone. But those few minutes added up to 2 hours. She didn't decide to waste time. She didn't plan to avoid rest. A habit took control. Once she recognized the loop, she changed it. She replaced the scrolling with a small reading routine. At first it felt awkward, but within 3 weeks reading felt natural. Scrolling felt less tempting. Her evenings became peaceful again. This story shows a powerful truth. Your life does not change by accident. It changes when you understand the habits that run it. The habit loop. Cue, action, reward. Every habit follows a simple loop. Cue, Something triggers the habit. Action. You perform the habit. Reward. You receive a feeling that encourages repetition. For example, cue. You feel bored. Action. You check your phone. Reward. You feel stimulated. Another example. Cue. You feel stressed. Action. You eat something unhealthy. Reward. You feel temporary comfort. One more example. Cue. Your alarm rings. Action. You hit snooze. Reward. You get a few more minutes of comfort. Your brain repeats any action that ends with a reward, even a small one. Understanding the loop gives you the power to change it. Why bad habits are so easy to repeat. Bad habits are comfortable. They require no effort, no stress, and no courage. They offer quick rewards. They solve short-term feelings, even if they create long-term problems. This is why your mind holds on to them. Good habits feel harder at first. They require energy, patience, and commitment. They offer slow rewards but create lasting benefits. Once you understand this difference, you stop blaming yourself. You see habits as patterns, not personal failures. Breaking a habit the smart way. You do not break a habit by fighting it directly. You break it by interrupting the loop. Here is how. Step 1. Identify the cue. What starts the habit? A feeling, a place, a time of day, a certain person. Stress, boredom, exhaustion. Awareness is the first key. Step 2. Change the action. You do not need to remove the cue. You replace the behavior that follows it. If the cue is boredom, replace scrolling with stretching. If the cue is stress, replace snacking with breathing. If the cue is tiredness, replace hitting snooze with a glass of water. Small replacements create big transformations. Step 3. Keep the reward. You do not remove the reward. You give your brain a reward that supports your goals. If you want calm, choose an action that gives real calm. If you want progress, choose an action that gives real progress. If you want health, choose an action that gives real health. Your mind cooperates when the reward is meaningful. Building a new habit with ease. New habits grow through gentle repetition, not pressure, not perfection. Consistency. Start small. 1 minute of reading. 1 minute of breathing. 1 glass of water. 1 small stretch. 1 quiet reflection. These small steps build momentum. A habit becomes natural when it feels easy to begin. So make the starting point simple. Identity and habits. The hidden connection. Your habits reflect your identity, but they also shape your identity. If you read daily, you see yourself as a reader. If you exercise daily, you see yourself as someone who cares for their body. If you follow a routine, you see yourself as disciplined. Identity and habit grow together. This makes habit building easier. You are not just doing an action, you are becoming someone new, protecting the habits that matter most. Habits are fragile when they are new. They need protection. Remove temptations. Set clear routines. Create reminders. Adjust your environment. Celebrate small wins. Speak to yourself encouragingly. Give yourself grace when you slip. You are training your mind, not forcing it. The future you build with your habits. Your habits determine the direction of your future. They influence your energy, your focus, your emotions, and your identity. They decide whether you rise or remain stuck. They shape who you become far more than your goals alone. This chapter is your reminder that you are not defined by your old habits. You can interrupt them. You can rewrite them. You can create new loops that support your growth. Your life becomes the sum of the habits you repeat. Build habits that support your purpose. Build habits that shape the identity you want. Build habits that lead you toward the future you are capable of creating. Chapter 13. Handling fear with calm and clarity. Fear is one of the oldest emotions in the human mind. It protected your ancestors. It kept them alert. It warned them of danger. Today, fear still tries to protect you, but it often responds to challenges that are not life-threatening. New opportunities, unfamiliar situations, personal growth, or emotional risks. Fear can stop you from moving forward, or it can guide you toward your strongest self. The key is learning how to face fear with calm and clarity, instead of avoidance and panic. This chapter will help you understand fear, listen to its message, and handle it in a way that strengthens your mind. Fear is a messenger, not a master. Fear is not meant to control you. It is meant to inform you. When fear appears, it is sending a signal. Something matters here. Pay attention. Fear shows up when you try something new. Fear shows up when your goals grow bigger than your comfort. Fear shows up when you stand at the edge of change. Many people believe fear means stop, but fear often means prepare. Fear means this step is important. Fear means you are growing. When you view fear as information instead of danger, your entire relationship with it changes. A story about fear. Before a new beginning, there was a woman who dreamed of switching careers. She wanted to pursue a job she cared about, but every time she prepared to apply, fear came rushing in. What if I fail? What if I am not good enough? What if people judge me? One day she spoke with a mentor who asked her a simple question. Are you afraid because this is wrong? Or are you afraid because this is new? The question stopped her. Her fear was not a warning. It was a sign that she was stepping out of her old identity. It was a sign she cared about the outcome. It was a sign she was moving towards something meaningful. With clarity, she took the step. Fear was still present, but it no longer controlled her. This story reflects a truth many forget. Fear is often the doorway to your next level of growth. Why fear feels so real? Fear feels powerful because the mind exaggerates uncertainty. It imagines the worst outcomes. It focuses on danger instead of possibility. It creates stories that feel true, even when they are not. Your mind does this to protect you, but protection can become limitation when fear goes unchecked. You may feel your heart race. You may feel tension in your body. You may feel your thoughts speeding up. These are natural responses, not signs of weakness. When you understand how fear works, you stop seeing it as a threat and start seeing it as a pattern you can manage. The fear reaction: pause, assess, act. To handle fear effectively, you need a simple structure. A structure that slows the reaction and brings clarity. First, pause. Do not run from the fear. Do not react immediately. Give your mind space to settle. Second, assess. Ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Is this fear based on fact or imagination? What part of this situation feels threatening? Naming the fear reduces its power. Third, act. Choose one small step that moves you forward. Not a huge leap, just one action that breaks the hold of fear. This three-step structure gives you control in moments when fear tries to take it away. Breathing through fear. Your breath is one of the most powerful tools for managing fear. When fear rises, your breathing becomes fast and shallow. This tells your mind that danger is close. But when you slow your breath, you send the opposite message. You tell your mind, you are safe. You can think clearly. Take a slow inhale. Hold for a moment. Release slowly. Repeat. A calm body creates a calmer mind. This simple practice can shift fear into clarity in seconds. Challenging fear with truth. Fear often speaks in extremes. You will fail. You will embarrass yourself. You are not ready. You can't handle this. These thoughts feel convincing, but they are rarely true. Challenge fear with questions like, what evidence do I have for this? What evidence do I have against it? What is the real likelihood of this outcome? If this goes wrong, can I recover? What would I say to a friend in the same situation? These questions bring logic into an emotional moment. Logic weakens fear's grip. Fear and the unknown. Much of fear comes from uncertainty. Your mind tries to predict outcomes to feel safe. When it cannot predict, it creates fear. But the unknown is also where growth happens. It is where opportunity lives. It is where new chapters begin. A growth mindset reframes the unknown from a threat to a possibility. Instead of saying, I don't know what will happen, try saying, there is something here for me to learn. That shift alone creates space for courage. Using fear as a guide. Fear can show you where your next step should be. Often the things you fear most are the things that matter most. If you fear speaking up, it may be time to use your voice. If you fear applying for a new job, it may be time to expand your path. If you fear starting a new habit, it may be time to grow your identity. If you fear taking responsibility, it may be time to rise into leadership. Fear points to the areas where strength is waiting to be developed. Small courage, repeated consistently. Handling fear does not require massive courage. It requires small courage, consistent courage, the courage to take one step, then another, then another. Small actions weaken fear over time. Small victories build confidence. Small progress creates big transformation. You do not need to eliminate fear. You need to move forward with it. Fear loses power when you step forward. Fear grows stronger when you avoid it. Every avoidance reinforces fear's message. Every action weakens it. When you take even one small step toward what you fear, something shifts inside you. Your mind learns that you can survive the discomfort. You can handle the challenge. You can face uncertainty. You can grow. This is how calm and clarity begin. The courage that comes from understanding. Handling fear is not about being fearless. It is about being clear. It is about understanding what the fear means. It is about choosing your direction instead of letting fear decide for you. This chapter is your reminder that fear is not a barrier. Fear is a signal. Fear is a guide. Fear is a part of growth. You can face fear with calm. You can face fear with clarity. And each time you do, you become stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the person you are becoming. Chapter 14. The battle with your old self. Every person carries two versions of themselves. The version they used to be, shaped by old habits, old fears, old doubts, and old patterns, and the version they are becoming, shaped by new choices, new clarity, and new intention. The journey of growth is the space between these two selves. Your old self is familiar. It knows your weaknesses. It knows your routines. It knows your comfort zones. It pulls you back because it does not like change. Your old self wants to protect you, even when the protection keeps you stuck. Your new self is unfamiliar. It stretches you. It challenges you. It asks for courage. It demands responsibility. It invites you to rise into a stronger version of who you can be. This chapter is about the battle between these two selves, and how to win it with patience, awareness, and consistency. Why the old self fights back. The old self does not disappear when you decide to grow. It becomes louder. It uses your fears. It triggers the habits you are trying to break. It whispers the same old stories. Stay comfortable. You're not ready. This is too risky. You've failed before. Why try again? Your old self feels safe because it is predictable. Even unhealthy patterns feel secure when you have lived with them for years. Growth asks you to step into the unknown, and the unknown feels dangerous to the old self. Understanding this helps you stay calm. Resistance does not mean you are failing. Resistance means you are growing. A story about the struggle between selves. A man decided to change his life by waking up early to work on his goals. For the first few days he was excited. He set his alarm. He woke up with energy. He felt proud of his new routine. Then on the 5th morning, the old self returned. The alarm rang. His old self whispered, "Stay in bed. You deserve more sleep." He gave in. The next morning, the old self whispered again, "You already failed yesterday. Why try today?" The man hesitated. He felt defeated before he even got up. But then he caught himself. He realized something important. He was not fighting the habit. He was fighting the identity behind the habit. His old self wanted control, but his new self wanted growth. So he stood up. He shook off the resistance. He started again, and each day he showed up. The voice of his new self grew stronger. The battle is normal, but victory comes through awareness and persistence. Recognizing the voice of the old self. Your old self speaks in patterns you already know. It uses familiar emotions. It uses old fears. It uses thoughts that once protected you. You might hear, "This is too much work. I can't change. I'm not that kind of person. I always go back to my old ways." When you hear these thoughts, pause. Recognize them as echoes, not truths. They are memories speaking, not your future. Naming the voice weakens its power. It helps you step back and choose the direction you want. Why the new self feels uncomfortable. Your new self asks for discipline. It asks for change. It asks for new habits, new actions, new beliefs, and new expectations. This feels uncomfortable because your brain prefers efficiency. New routines require mental energy. Old routines run automatically. The new self feels hard not because you are incapable, but because the old self has a lifetime of practice. Growth begins when you accept the discomfort as part of the transition, the turning point. Small wins strengthen the new self. You do not defeat the old self with willpower alone. You defeat it with small victories. Wake up on time once. Exercise for 5 minutes. Read 1 page. Make 1 brave decision. End 1 unhelpful habit today. These small wins stack up. They build a sense of identity. They tell your mind, "We are becoming someone new." The old self loses power when the new self proves itself through action. When old patterns try to return, even after progress, old patterns sometimes return. This does not mean you are going backward. It means your mind is testing its new direction. You might feel tempted to fall into old habits. You might feel the pull of old comforts. You might feel old doubts rising again. This is normal. When old patterns return, respond with awareness, not judgment. Ask yourself, what triggered this? What is my mind trying to protect me from? What can I choose instead? This reflection strengthens your control. Learning to lead your mind. You cannot erase the old self, but you can lead it. You can train your mind to follow your new direction. You can guide your thoughts. You can guide your habits. You can guide your identity. Leadership begins with clarity. What does the new version of you stand for? What habits define them? What choices do they make? What energy do they bring into each day? Let these questions shape your behavior. Forgiveness, the hidden tool in the battle. You cannot grow if you punish yourself for every slip. Your new self needs support, not judgment. It needs encouragement, not criticism. Forgive yourself quickly. Stand up again. Take the next step. Each time you rise, your new self becomes stronger. Forgiveness builds momentum. Shame destroys it. The new self is built daily. Your future self is not formed in one moment. It is formed in repeated choices. Every day you choose who you will be. Every day you take a step toward your future or back into your past. Progress is not linear. Some days you move forward. Some days you hold steady. Some days you fall and rise again. What matters is consistency, not perfection. Becoming the version of you that your life needs. The battle with your old self is not a war to be feared. It is a journey of becoming. It is the process of shedding old limitations. It is the path of stepping into your potential. Your new self is waiting on the other side of discipline, awareness, courage and repetition. As you continue to grow, the voice of your new self becomes your guide. It becomes clearer, stronger, and more confident. It becomes the identity that carries you to your highest potential. This chapter is your reminder that you are not trapped by your past. You are not defined by old patterns. You are evolving. You are learning. You are stepping into someone stronger. And every day you choose your new self, the old self loses its power. Chapter 15. Designing the life your mind can follow. Every life is built twice, first in the mind, and then in the world. Your actions, habits, and choices follow the blueprint you create internally. If your inner world is clear, your outer world becomes structured. If your inner world is confused, your outer world becomes scattered. Designing a life your mind can follow means building a path that matches how your mind works. A path that is clear. A path that is intentional. A path that your mind can walk with confidence and consistency. This chapter will help you create a life that supports your growth, respects your limits, and guides you toward your purpose. Why your mind needs a clear design. Your mind works best when it knows where it is going. Without direction, it becomes restless. It jumps from one idea to another. It reacts instead of creating. It becomes overwhelmed by options. Your mind needs structure the way a plant needs sunlight. Structure gives it clarity. Clarity gives it calm. Calm gives it power. You do not need a complicated plan. You need a direction your mind can trust. A story about a man who changed his life through structure. There was a man who always said he wanted to improve his life. He meant it. He was sincere. But his days were filled with noise. He worked aimlessly. He tried to do too many things at once. He felt busy, but not productive. One day, a friend asked him a simple question. What does an improved life look like for you? Can you describe it clearly? The man paused. He had dreams but no structure, no design, no blueprint. Over time he created a simple plan. Just a few clear priorities. Just a few daily habits. Just a few small changes in his environment. Within months his mind felt lighter. His actions became focused. His life began to transform, not because he redesigned everything at once, but because he finally created a life his mind could follow. Clarity creates direction. Your mind cannot follow confusion. It needs simple, clear directions. Ask yourself, what kind of life am I building? What matters most to me right now? What is the next step, not the next 100 steps? When your mind knows the why, the how becomes easier. Clarity reduces hesitation. Clarity reduces fear. Clarity reduces wasted energy. A clear direction becomes a mental anchor, choosing priorities that support your growth. You cannot give your energy to everything. Your mind is not built for constant multitasking. It needs a small set of priorities. Choose 3 areas that matter most. 3 areas that will move your life forward. 3 areas that support the person you are becoming. For example, health, skill development, meaningful relationships, creative work, inner growth, financial stability. When you choose your priorities intentionally, your mind knows where to focus and where to say. Building routines your mind can trust. A routine is not a restriction, it is a form of support. Your mind feels safe when it knows what to expect. Simple routines create powerful results. A morning routine that prepares your mind. An evening routine that calms your thoughts. A work routine that keeps you focused. A reflection routine that strengthens your direction. Routines tell your mind, this is what we do. This is who we are becoming. Consistency creates identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior creates results. Designing your physical environment. Your environment should help your mind, not challenge it. A messy space creates mental clutter. A chaotic schedule creates emotional stress. A distracting environment creates scattered thoughts. Design spaces that support your goals. A quiet corner for focus. A clean area for clarity. A small space for creativity. A digital environment free from unnecessary noise. Your environment becomes a silent partner in your success. Aligning your habits with your future self. Every habit is a vote for the person you want to become. If your habits do not match your vision, your mind becomes confused. It tries to go 2 directions at once. Ask yourself, do my daily actions support the life I want? Which habits bring me closer? Which habits pull me away? Small changes in habits create big changes in identity. Identity guides your long-term direction, reducing mental noise. Your mind cannot follow a life filled with noise. Too many decisions drain your energy. Too many options weaken your discipline. Too many distractions break your focus. Simplify wherever possible. Simplify your goals. Simplify your tasks. Simplify your commitments. Simplify your environment. Your mind performs best when it has fewer decisions and more intention. Using reflection to stay aligned. Life changes. Your priorities change. Your goals change. Your identity evolves. Reflection keeps your mind aligned with your direction. It helps you correct your path. It helps you stay aware of what matters. It helps you avoid drifting. Take a few minutes each day to reflect what worked today, what challenged me, what needs my attention tomorrow. Reflection becomes a compass for your mind, designing a life your mind enjoys living. The purpose of designing your life is not to control everything. It is to create a life that feels meaningful, a life that feels balanced, a life that supports your mental and emotional well-being, a life that inspires you to grow. Your mind thrives when your life contains purpose, structure, clarity, space, growth, connection, rest, challenge, simplicity. This is what makes a life sustainable, not pressure, but alignment. Your mind follows the life you intentionally create. A well-designed life does not appear on its own. It is built through small decisions and steady focus. It is built through choosing what matters and releasing what does not. It is built through clarity, patience and intention. This chapter is your reminder that designing your life is not about perfection. It is about direction. It is about building a path your mind can walk without fear, without confusion, and without constant stress. Design the life you want. Shape the environment that supports it. Choose the habits that sustain it. Create the clarity that strengthens it. When your life aligns with your purpose, your mind naturally follows. And once your mind follows the right path, success becomes the natural outcome. Chapter 16. Living with Purpose and Direction. A life without purpose feels heavy. Days blur together. Motivation fades. Small problems feel larger than they are. Without purpose, you move through life, but never feel like you are moving forward. Purpose does not mean having every detail figured out. It does not mean knowing exactly what you want for the next 20 years. Purpose is a direction, not a destination. It is a sense of meaning that guides your choices and gives your life depth. When you live with purpose, your actions gain clarity. Your mind feels steadier. You wake up with a quiet sense of intention. And even on difficult days, you know what you are moving toward. This chapter helps you discover that purpose, strengthen it, and use it as a guiding force in your life. Purpose gives your life a center point. Imagine standing in a field without a path. You can walk in any direction, but none of them feel right. You take a few steps, then stop. You turn around. You hesitate. You feel lost. Now imagine standing in the same field, but this time a clear path stretches forward. You know where it leads, even if you cannot see the entire journey. You take a step, then another. Your confidence grows. Direction gives you momentum. Purpose is that path. It gives your life a center point. It gives your choices structure. It gives your mind something stable to follow. A story about purpose, hidden in plain sight. There was a man who felt lost in his career. He switched jobs often. He tried different roles. He kept searching for something that felt right. But everything felt empty. One afternoon, he noticed something about himself that he had never considered. Whenever someone around him struggled, he stepped in to help. He naturally listened. He naturally guided. He naturally encouraged. Helping people made him feel alive. It gave him energy instead of draining it. He realized something important. His purpose had been present the entire time. He was just too distracted to notice it. Purpose is not always a grand vision. Sometimes it is a quiet pull in your heart. Something that feels natural. Something that feels meaningful. Something that feels like home. Purpose does not have to be perfect. Many people struggle with purpose because they believe it must be clear, dramatic or specific. But purpose does not need to be perfect. It simply needs to be true. Your purpose can be to grow, to serve, to create, to learn, to teach, to inspire, to build something meaningful, to care for the people in your life, to become the strongest version of yourself. Purpose evolves as you evolve. It grows as you grow. It becomes clearer with time, not before you begin. Direction makes the journey easier. Purpose gives meaning, but direction gives movement. Direction helps you turn purpose into action. Without direction, purpose stays inside your mind. It inspires you, but it does not guide you. Direction answers questions like, what is the next step? What matters most this season of my life? What can I do today that aligns with who I want to become? Direction turns purpose into a daily practice. How purpose reduces confusion and stress. When you lack purpose, everything feels urgent. Every problem feels big. Every decision feels heavy. Your mind becomes overwhelmed because it does not know what truly matters. When you live with purpose, confusion fades. You know what to focus on and what to ignore. You recognize distractions quickly. You save energy for what matters. Your mind becomes calmer because your direction is clear. Purpose does not remove problems. It gives you the strength to move through them, finding the purpose within you. You do not find purpose by forcing it. You find it by listening. Ask yourself, what brings me energy? What feels meaningful when I do it? What do I naturally care about? What pain have I experienced that shaped me? What strengths do I return to again and again? Purpose often grows from experience, from your story, from your struggles, from what your heart notices that others overlook. Let purpose reveal itself, piece by piece, living with direction through daily intentions. A purposeful life is built through daily choices, not dramatic moments, not sudden breakthroughs. Small, steady intentions. Set a simple intention each morning. Today I will stay present. Today I will take one step toward my goal. Today I will speak with kindness. Today I will practice patience. Today I will move, even if slowly. These quiet intentions guide your actions. They strengthen your purpose. Purpose creates a stronger identity. When you live with purpose, your identity changes. You begin to see yourself as someone who grows, someone who contributes, someone who acts with intention, someone who moves towards something meaningful. This identity gives you confidence. It helps you handle setbacks. It helps you stay steady through challenges. It helps you rise into the person you are becoming. Purpose shapes identity. Identity shapes action. Action shapes your life. Staying committed. When purpose feels faint, there will be days when your purpose feels distant. When you feel tired. When you feel discouraged. When your direction feels unclear. This is normal. Do not abandon your purpose during these moments. Return to small actions. Return to routines. Return to reflection. Return to gratitude. These simple practices reconnect you with your deeper intention. Your purpose does not disappear. It is simply waiting for you to slow down and listen again. The life that emerges from purpose. Living with purpose is not about perfect clarity. It is about meaningful direction. It is about waking up each day with a sense of intention. It is about choosing growth over stagnation. It is about building a life that reflects your values, your strengths, and your dreams. When you live with purpose and direction, life becomes fuller. You feel more grounded. You feel more alive. You feel connected to something deeper than yourself. Purpose gives life meaning. Direction gives life movement. Together they create a path your mind can follow with confidence. This chapter is your reminder that life is not something you endure. It is something you design, something you shape, something you fill with intention and meaning. Live with purpose, walk with direction, and let your mind follow the life you are intentionally creating. Conclusion. Mastery begins with a single choice. Every journey in this book leads to one simple truth. Your mind is powerful. Your thoughts are powerful. Your habits, identity, emotions, and choices are powerful. But none of that power means anything until you make one decision. The decision to take ownership of your inner world. Mastery does not begin with a perfect plan. It does not begin with complete confidence. It does not begin when life becomes easier. Mastery begins the moment you say, I will no longer live on autopilot. I will lead my mind. This single choice changes everything. It shifts you from reacting to directing, from drifting to deciding, from living by habit to living by intention. The journey you have taken. As you listen to these chapters, you learned how your mind shapes your life. You learned how thoughts influence your reality, how your inner voice guides your actions, how negative loops form, and how to break them, how emotions can be understood instead of feared, how focus strengthens your direction, how discipline builds your foundation, how environments shape your mind, how stress can be mastered, not avoided, how a growth mindset expands your possibilities, how identity can be rewritten, how habits become the silent architects of your future, how fear can be navigated with calm and clarity, how your old self can be overcome, how designing your life creates alignment, how purpose gives meaning to your movement. Each chapter was a step forward, a piece of the larger transformation, a guide toward mental mastery. But true mastery begins with what you choose to do next. The mind you lead becomes the life you live. Your mind can either be your strongest ally or your biggest obstacle. Left unmanaged, it pulls you backward. Guided with intention, it pushes you forward. This is the choice in front of you. Will you allow your old patterns, old emotions, and old loops to continue shaping your life? Or will you step into the role of leader, the one who decides what your mind focuses on, what stories it believes, what habits it follows, and what direction it chooses? You do not have to control every thought. You only need to guide the mind that creates them. Small decisions eventually become your new identity. Small habits eventually become your new path. Small steps eventually become your new life. Mastery grows through intention, not pressure. You are not starting from zero. Many people believe they must become someone different before they can take control. But mastery is not about becoming someone new. It is about returning to who you were always capable of being. Strength is already inside you. Clarity is inside you. Courage is inside you. Discipline is inside you. Purpose is inside you. This book did not give you something new. It reminded you of what you already have, and what you can build with it. What mastery looks like in real life. Mastery is not dramatic. It is quiet. It is consistent. It shows up in moments no one else notices. It looks like taking a breath before reacting, choosing focus over distraction, speaking to yourself with clarity instead of criticism, breaking a loop instead of feeding it, taking one small step instead of freezing, choosing growth instead of fear, returning to your purpose again and again. Mastery is not about perfection. It is about intention. It is about awareness. It is about choosing your path with calm and confidence. The one decision that changes everything. At the center of every transformation is a moment of choice. A moment when you decide you will no longer live by old patterns. A moment when you choose to become the leader of your mind. A moment when you commit to awareness, discipline and growth. A moment when you choose clarity over confusion and direction over drift. This decision is not loud. It does not require a celebration. It happens quietly inside you. But once made, it redirects your entire life. When you decide to master your mind, you free yourself from the limits of your past. You step into a future shaped by intention. You step into a life designed by choice. You step into the strongest version of yourself. Your next step. Everything you need is already within you. The tools, the awareness, the clarity, the strength. All of it lives inside your mind. This book has shown you how to access it, how to guide it, how to shape it. Now it is your turn to take the next step. Not a perfect step, not a dramatic one, just a step forward with intention. Choose awareness, choose discipline, choose growth, choose purpose, choose your new identity, choose the habits that support it, choose the direction that aligns with your future, choose mastery, a life led from within. When you master your mind, you master your life. You move through the world with clarity, you respond with wisdom, you grow with confidence, you speak with intention. You act with purpose. Mastery does not mean life becomes easy. It means you become stronger. Stronger than fear. stronger than doubt, stronger than old patterns, stronger than the distractions that once controlled you. This is where your journey leads, a life guided from within. Your story continues from this moment forward, and it begins with the single choice to lead your mind before it leads you.